In 2012, the most powerful sports car manufacturer in Japan made a decision that should have ended a legend. Toyota, the company that built the 2JZ, looked at the Supra nameplate, looked at their own engine catalog, and said, no, they couldn't do it. Not alone. Not anymore. So they did something Toyota had never done with a flagship sports car. They picked up the phone. They called Munich, and they asked BMW for an engine. What happened next isn't the story most people know. It's not a story about Toyota losing its soul. It's a story about BMW building an engine so good, so deliberately tunable, that Toyota paid them to put it in a car wearing a Japanese badge. And that engine, the BMW B58, would go on to make 1,000 horsepower on stock internals, win Ward's 10 best engines 5 separate times, and quietly become the most important inline-six BMW has built this century. This is the story of the BMW engine Toyota paid to steal. The Mk5 Supra, the legendary A80, went out of production in 2002. For 17 years, the Supra nameplate sat in a Toyota filing cabinet. And in those 17 years, something fundamental had changed about how Toyota built cars. Toyota had become the world's largest car maker, but it had also become the world's most risk-averse one. The 2JZ engine that defined the A80 Supra was a development project from a different era, a different Toyota. And by 2012, when Chairman Akio Toyoda quietly told his engineers he wanted the Supra back, the company didn't have the appetite to spend $500 million developing a new rear-drive sports car platform from scratch. Not for one model, not in this market. So in May 2012, Toyota's chief sports car engineer, Tetsuya Tada, got a phone call. He was flying to Munich. The brief he was given was vague. Quote, a feasibility study with BMW. And Tada has admitted in interviews that, at the time, no one had even told him it was about a sports car. But Akio Toyoda had given him one condition. Whatever came out of Munich, it had to be a real sports car. Front engine, rear-wheel drive, turbocharged inline-six. The Supra formula. Non-negotiable. Toyota didn't just want an engine. They wanted an engine that could carry the weight of the Supra legend. The 2JZ wasn't just an engine. It was a cultural object. The hashtag, the Fast and the Furious, the 1,000-horsepower JDM mythology. Tada knew that if the next Supra had a weak engine, the badge died with it. And BMW knew this too. Here's what most people don't realize. When Toyota walked into Munich in 2012, BMW wasn't pitching them an old engine. BMW was about to launch a brand new one. An engine that, in retrospect, looks like it was almost designed for what Toyota would ask it to do. The B58, a 3-liter turbocharged inline-six, internally designated B58 B30 M0. Launched in 2015 in the F30340i. And from day one, BMW had built it differently from the N55 it replaced. 3 things specifically made the B58 special. 3 things that nobody talked about at the time, but that would matter enormously a few years later. First, a closed-deck aluminum block. Where the N55 used an open-deck design, the B58 sealed the top of its cylinder bores into the engine block itself. This made the block stiffer, stronger, able to handle far more cylinder pressure than its predecessor. In tuner language, it could hold massive boost without warping, splitting, or lifting the head. Second, a higher compression ratio, 11:1. higher than almost any turbocharged BMW engine before it. That meant better thermal efficiency, more power per drop of fuel, and a stronger combustion event that, again, pushed power numbers up without needing more turbo. And third, BMW had bumped boost pressure 20% over the N55. Not by adding a second turbo, by engineering a single twin-scroll turbocharger that was simply bigger, faster spooling, and capable of moving more air through a tighter exhaust path. The B58 made power earlier, harder, and across a wider RPM band than anything BMW had built in this segment. When Tada-san walked into the BMW engine division in 2012, he wasn't looking at a parts shelf. He was looking at what was, at that moment, the most over-engineered mass-production inline-six BMW had ever built. And he knew immediately. This was his engine. Most people think Toyota walked in, BMW handed them an engine, and the Supra was born. Wrong. The deal almost died. Twice. And the man who almost killed it is one of the most controversial executives in modern automotive history. In January 2013, BMW and Toyota signed binding agreements. Joint development of a fuel cell system, a sports car, lithium-air batteries, and lightweight technologies. The first feasibility study for the sports car was supposed to be finished by the end of that same year. It was a tight timeline. And it collapsed. The reason? Herbert Diess. At the time, Diess was BMW's head of development. He looked at the business case for a pure two-seat sports car. He looked at the volumes. He looked at the margins. And he said, no. He wanted Toyota to make something more profitable. An SUV. A crossover. Something BMW could sell more than 5,000 units of per year. Tada-san refused. He had a directive from Akio Toyoda himself. Pure sports car. Inline-six, rear-wheel drive. He wasn't going to bring Toyota another crossover. He was going to bring him a Supra. And the negotiations stalled. For a year, neither side moved. Then, the saving moment. In 2015, Herbert Diess left BMW to become CEO of Volkswagen, and BMW promoted Klaus Fröhlich into Diess's old role. Fröhlich was a car guy. He'd come up through BMW's engine division. He had a soft spot for inline-sixes. And the team Fröhlich brought with him into the development division? In Tada-san's own words, quote, crazy car guys. Under Fröhlich, the deal moved. Fast. The platform was approved. The engine choice, B58, was locked in. The assembly location, Magna Steyr in Graz, Austria, was confirmed. The two cars, the BMW Z4 G29 and the Toyota Supra A90, would be built on the same factory floor, by the same hands, out of largely the same parts, with only the bodywork, the chassis tune, and the soul telling them apart. Now, let's get into what makes the B58 actually special, because every tuning forum on the internet will tell you the B58 is the most tunable BMW engine ever built. And they are not wrong. But the reasons why are more interesting than most people realize. Start with the block. Closed deck aluminium. But there's more to it. The cylinder walls are plasma arc wire sprayed with a hard iron coating. That's the same technology BMW uses on the M3's S55 race engine. It makes the cylinder bores almost indestructible. Tuners have pushed B58s past 800 horsepower on stock bores, with the original factory pistons still inside. That doesn't happen by accident. Then the bottom end. Forged steel crankshaft. From the factory. Not cast. forged. The connecting rods are also forged, though the pistons are cast aluminum, and that's the one weakness tuners eventually find above the 600 horsepower mark. But for a stock production engine to come from BMW with forged rods and a forged crank, that tells you everything about what BMW expected the B58 to handle. And then, the fueling system. Direct injection from launch. Then, in 2018, BMW upgraded the high-pressure fuel pump to the HDP6 EVO unit. Bigger injectors, more flow. Compatible with high ethanol fuel blends like E85, which is a tuner's secret weapon for making big power without expensive race fuel logistics. The third-generation B58, known as the B58 TU2, added port injection alongside the direct system, meaning the engine now has two completely separate fuel paths for one engine in a stock road car. Why does this matter? Because BMW didn't need to do any of this. The B58 makes its rated power from the factory with a single fuel system and one set of injectors. The forged crank, the closed deck block, the plasma-coated bores, the dual fuel architecture. These aren't features you need to make 382 horsepower. These are features you build in if you're quietly designing an engine to make a lot more than that. And BMW knew exactly what they were doing. When the 2020 Toyota Supra launched in the United States, Toyota rated it at 335 horsepower and 365 pound-feet of torque, measured at the crankshaft. Those were the official numbers. And almost immediately, people knew something was off. Because in their first instrumented test, car and driver took the new Supra to the drag strip. 0 to 60, 3.8 seconds. Quarter mile in 12.3 seconds at 113 miles per hour. Those are not 335 horsepower numbers. Those numbers belong to BMW M-car territory, to 425 horsepower muscle cars. Something was wrong. So car and driver did what every car magazine had stopped doing years ago. They strapped the Supra to a chassis dynamometer. At Livernois Motorsports and Engineering in Dearborn Heights, Michigan, they ran the test. They watched the numbers, and the numbers shocked them. 339 horsepower at the wheels, after the transmission and differential had eaten their share of mechanical losses. Toyota had claimed 335 at the crank, which meant the Supra was making 4 more horsepower at the ground than Toyota had claimed at the engine. The torque was even more outrageous, 427 pound-feet at the wheels, against 365 claimed at the crank. That's a 62 pound-foot discrepancy. Motor Trend ran their own dyno test independently. World Motorsports in Torrance, California. Different state, different dyno, different Supra. Their number? 332 horsepower and 387 pound-feet at the wheels. Slightly lower on power, slightly lower on torque, but still significantly above what Toyota had claimed. 2 magazines, 2 coasts, 2 dynos. Same conclusion. The Supra was underrated. And it gets better. The next year, the 2021 model arrived with a new 6-port cylinder head and a quoted output of 382 horsepower. Car and driver dynoed that one too. Result? 388 horsepower at the wheels. 6 more than claimed. Again. BMW had a reputation for underrating its engines. They'd done the same thing on the M5 competition. But for Toyota to ship a Supra that quietly punched above its rated weight? That was something else entirely. What happened next is the part of the B58 story that turned this engine into a legend. Because the moment tuners realized the B58 was underrated from the factory, they realized something else. If BMW was leaving power on the table at 335 horsepower, how much was really in there? The answer turned out to be a lot. With nothing but an ECU tune, what tuners call a flash, B58 owners were seeing 450 to 475 horsepower at the wheels. From a 49-pound software update on a completely stock engine. No new turbo, no internal modifications, nothing. Just telling the computer to stop holding back. Then the bolt-on builds. Bigger downpipe, bigger intercooler, high-flow intake, methanol injection. Numbers climbed to 550, 600, 650. Still on the factory turbo. Still on the factory internals. Still on a production engine sitting in someone's daily driver. And then, Formula Drift got involved. In 2020, Stefan Papadakis Racing, in partnership with Toyota Gazoo Racing, built a B58-powered GR Supra for Formula D. The engine made 1,000 horsepower from a 3-liter BMW production block in a competition car driven by Fredrik Osbo. That same year, Dreddy Performance built another B58 Supra, making 800 horsepower for Ken Gushi. Both cars ran a full Formula D season. And then, Osbo went on to win the 2021 and 2022 Formula Drift Championships in that 1,000-horsepower B58 Supra. 2 championships on a BMW engine, wearing a Toyota badge, built in Austria. The most unlikely competition winner in motorsport. But the dyno didn't lie. The B58 had been engineered from day one to take this kind of abuse. Here's the strange business reality. The B58 powers 41 different BMW models. BMW sells those cars in huge numbers. So why did Toyota matter? Because Toyota brought the B58 into a market BMW could not reach. The JDM tuning culture. The Fast and Furious generation. The 2 JZ enthusiasts who would never have bought a BMW 340i. To them, BMW was a luxury sedan brand. The Supra badge made the B58 something else entirely. It made it the spiritual successor to the most worshipped tuner engine in history. Within 12 months of the A90 launching, every major aftermarket parts supplier had launched a complete tuning catalog for the platform. The B58 didn't just gain a new car, it gained a new audience. And BMW got paid for the privilege. In 2025, Toyota announced the A90 Supra would end production in March 2026. Toyota will not continue the BMW partnership. The next Supra, expected in 2027, will run a Toyota-developed turbocharged hybrid 4-cylinder. The B58 chapter of the Supra story is over. But the B58, the engine itself, keeps going.